So what we're going to do is kind of go over the flow of how we're going to get you up and running in Lizzy as quickly as possible with as few errors as we possibly can manage. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is, once we create your database, is we're going to have you go in and actually create the employees that you're going to have logged into the system so that they can start learning how to do things and learning how to do their respective jobs. So step one is going to be putting in employees. Along that same line, once you create an employee, you're going to know how to create everything else. So we're going to go ahead and have you create the suppliers and the manufacturers. Now, we have to have the suppliers and manufacturers imported into the system before we can actually create your price list. It is possible for you to import your own price list, but that is not really something that you're going to be doing very often. So we're not going to get into how to import a price list. At the point that you're ready to do something like that, you'll probably be online with tech support to do it, because it's not something in fact, I don't know of very many cases where you're going to have to manually import a price list. But price lists are imported from us, and we have to have the suppliers and manufacturers in before we can do that. So we'll go through setting up the suppliers and manufacturers. We'll get your price list imported. Once the price lists are imported, the next step is going in and actually creating your open purchase orders. And those are going to basically be anything that you have not ordered in your old system, or anything that you have ordered that has not shown up yet. Those things are going to be created inside of Lizzy. So we'll have our ordered POs and our open POs will both be put into the system. Once we're done with that, the next step is going to be creating your open service tickets. And basically what happens is, as you create your service tickets, the parts that you put onto those service tickets will be associated with the purchase orders that you created in step 5. So when you create the service tickets and your open special orders, those things will automatically tie to those purchase orders. So you'll basically create the POs to mimic what was in your old system, and then Lizzy will link up the special orders to those things as you're creating the open service tickets and your open special orders. Once you have your open special orders created, you're then going to go and manually create account receivable credits for anybody that has paid for those special order parts. The reason that's a two-step process is because the money was actually taken in your old system, so we cannot go into Lizzy and have it create the deposit on the invoice, because at that point everything will be tied. You'll actually have hits on your GL for money, which basically was accounted for last year or last month in your old system, and we don't want to show that inside Lizzy because it'll get everything messed up. So we'll manually create the AR credits, and then we'll generate any repair orders and invoices. We'll basically start using the system. Now at that point, we'll go in and set up your inventory bins and those kind of things along the way, and we'll start actually creating your inventory. Now keep in mind that some of these things are done with conversion if you have data that you're given to us. So for example, if you gave us an inventory file, your bin locations will get set up when we import your inventory most of the time, and your inventory will already be in the system. And in that case, your inventory would actually already be in here at, all the way over here at step 3 or step 4. Once we get your price files imported, we go ahead and import your inventory, and that changes how you create your repair orders and stuff a little bit. But for the most part, it's fairly straightforward. So once you have your inventory and your serialized inventory, your major units inventory, and all that stuff in the system, you've pretty much got everything up and running, and you're ready to rock and roll with the system. So our process that we're going to be going through to get you up and running is basically going to be walking through one of these several steps until we get to step 11, where you're actually doing your invoices and doing things from that point forward.